Well, that's enough debate over every Pokemon versus 1 billion lions. Hey man, I could use your help with something. Oh yeah, well what's up, bro? Like, beat this fucking poison type gym. And I'm using every grass type in the book, but nothing. Sorry, you're using what to beat a poison gym? Grass, cause like a lot of plants are like immune to a lot of chemicals and stuff. So like I figured, you know, like grass beats poison, right? Bull. Hey everybody, it's your boy Hunt2Haunter back at it again with another video. Mind the noise, my AC is going and my room is burning. Today we are going to talk about type charts because a lot of people still don't fully understand the type chart. To put it simply, Pokemon is a game of rock, paper, scissors. A big game of rock, paper, scissors. However, to understand this complicated version of rock, paper, scissors, this guide will kind of help you. I'm not gonna go over type resistances because, like, I could probably make that video on its own, only if you ask, so like and subscribe. Please. Or don't. Whatever. Till then, let's get into this video. Starting off with normal type. What does normal type beat? Absolutely nothing. However, you can use a normal type against a ghost. Because let's be honest, have you ever tried to fight a ghost? 99% time you'd lose, right? Because you can't even touch the ghost. It's not in this reality. Unless you're my chaos gremlin grankid who is able to rip the soul of the fabric of the universe, in which case, you're special. Put down the god potion. You can't drink it again. However, normal is weak to fighting. Because against a professional fighter who has trained all his life versus some guy who's watched an anime movie, the MMA fighter's gonna kick your ass. With that, we're gonna move on to the fighting type. The fighting type can beat the normal type, but it could also beat rock, steel, ice, and dark type. To put it simply, you have seen a couple of martial art users, you know, karate chop boards and stuff, right? Well, some are able to do that to cinder block, to stone. So, that's why they can do that. As for steel, the steel type is always used as the metal type. So, put it simply, punch a soda can. You'll probably win. As for ice type, this similar thing that I have stated to karate chopping cinder block has also been done with ice. So there's that. And as for dark, there's something called shadow boxing. I'm just kidding. However, in the case that someone is going to sneak attack you in the dark, and you're a professional fighter who knows how to fight, the sneak attack will get one good lick in, but the fighter will end the fight. See what I'm saying? However, I still like to try to implicate, you know, shadow boxing be a thing, because that is where you are pretending to fight your shadow, and your shadow's not really going to win. Unless you're possessed, in which case, seek help. Fighting type also cannot hit ghosts, because much like the normal weeb that you just kicked the ass of, the professional fighter is still not going to touch the ghost. Now, fighting type also beats fighting type as well, because in a match of two professional fighters, one of them is going to come out victorious. Now, they are also weak to the fairy, flying, and psychic type. Fairy being an implication that it is light, good magic, and it can win against, you know, someone with just these fucking hands. Psychic because mind over matter, and flying because someone has the high ground. Also, I feel like it'd be a lot easier if someone in a helicopter were to kind of bomb a boxer, so, yeah. Have that in your mental prowess. Moving on to the flying typing. The flying typing is immune to ground, because what's happening on the ground can't really happen in the air, now can it? It is able to defeat fighting, as previously discussed, bug and grass, because birds tend to eat bugs and fuck up farmers' crops. Not all birds, but a lot of birds. However, flying type is weak to electric, ice, and rock. Lightning because a lot of birds tend to fly in lightning storms and get zapped, though it happens less than you think. And ice, because a lot of birds can't fly during the cold, blizzardy temperatures of the winds, their wings will stiffen and they will fall and die. And a rock, because 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm not kidding, that is the reason Japan gave it to them. Also, if you tend to have a meteor shower happen while a bird's flying, I'd like to think it'd go from a bird to a splurd, if you know what I mean. With that, we're going to move on to the poison typing. Now, the poison well, steel is immune to poison, because if you're trying to poison a person, they're going to die of poison. But if you're going to poison a robot, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. However, I think there should be some poison exceptions. Corrosion, after all, is a thing. But I understand why Japan made this decision. Now, poison beats grass and fairy. I think bug now too. And back in Gen 1, bug actually was immune or resisted poison because a lot of bugs were poisonous. But I think they changed that after Gen 2 or 3. Self-explanatory. Bugs can die of poisonous gas. Fairies in folklore, they can die of plague, as written in fairy tales. And as for grass type, why poison can beat grass type. Why poison is able to beat grass type is because of pollution. Dirty chemicals, toxic waste, kind of kills the earth and the biome that the poison is set in. I mean, look at any oil spill or any, chemical that does decay nature. It will kill it. Never mind the fact that there's a lot of bacteria eating plants, so there's that. Also, weed killer, that's a thing. See, what else? Yes. Poison, however, is beaten by ground and psychic, because you can't really poison, like, dirt. I think there is some acids that can, but out of most case scenarios, it's kind of just a puddle right there. And as for psychic, when it comes to trying to figure out how an acid can be defeated, or a toxin, a sharp mind can figure out the solution on how to detoxify it. Now, moving on to the ground typing. Ground is immune to electric because of grounding. Yeah. As stated, flying is immune to ground. However, it can beat poison, rock, steel, fire, and electric. Poison, as already mentioned. Rock, simply because when an earthquake happens, rocks can get split. It has happened many a times throughout history. Steel, simply because steel machinery that can get put in the dirt, and if an earthquake happens, that thing is going to get crushed, like one of those compression videos you see all over TikTok. Fire, because a lot of ways to put out a fire is you put some dirt over it, from what I learned from scouts. And electric has already been mentioned, as, ground being immune to it. However, ground is beaten by grass, ice, and water. Grass, because grass is able to grow through the dirt. Ice, because ice is able to coat itself over the dirt and mud and, well, the earth. And water, because it can soften and eventually liquefy, said dirt. Or better yet, it can, thicken it in some cases, but in other cases it'll, get mushy and not hard. You're understanding what I'm saying, right? Good. I can't hear you. This is a pre-recorded video. Moving on to the rock typing now. Rock type tends to be one of the weaker types, in my case. Rock can beat flying, as stated previously, bug, fire, and ice. It can defeat bug, because I'm pretty sure if you drop a rock on a bug, it's gonna die. Fire, because, again, putting out a fire with dirt is no different than putting some rocks around it, kind of setting the flame, or putting out the flame with some pretty big rocks. And ice, because ice can coat over rock. Think of rock as like a bigger version of ground, or more structured, I guess. And with that, fighting, as said previously, grass, much like ground, can sprout and split open rocks. Check it out, it's weird. Ground, as stated previously. Steel, because you're able to, like, take a drill to a rock and open it. And water, because, no. If you've seen high-pressured water take out a rock, you can split that thing open. Also, immense water pressure can also, like, split a already cracked rock as it is. So there's also that. Never mind the fact that there are clay-formed rocks that aren't really rocks, but, like, they're groups of the earth that, like, look rock-like. One tsunami later, shit's dirt now. Moving on to the bug type. Bug is able to be grass, psychic, and dark. Grass, because a lot of bugs are able to eat grass. Psychic, simply because when you're trying to meditate and a mosquito's flying around you, that's going to get annoying. Also, it's a psychological thing as well. You know, a lot of people tend to be afraid of bugs, which is another reason why it beats dark. Because it's something in the unknown, a fear, a phobia within the void of the unknown. Also, a lot of bugs are nocturnal. However, bug is beaten by fire, flying, rock, and ice. Fire, because I'm pretty sure you throw a cockroach in the flame, you watch what happens. Birds eat bugs, as stated previously. Rocks crush bugs, as stated previously. And have you ever seen a mosquito in Antarctica? There's a reason for that. Moving on with the ghost type. As stated previously, normal and fighting cannot touch it, because it's a ghost. However, ghosts can beat actual ghosts, because it takes one ghost to defeat another ghost, because they're on the same plane of existence, maybe that phasmo, you know, energy, you know, they're able to, like, punch each other with the ghost hands, getting the good, the boo-hoo 1-2, you know, nah, I'm just kidding. However, since ectoplasm, solidified creatures, as media would put it, in a game full of magical animals, they would be able to be the only thing able to touch each other. As well as dark. Because, you know, inside the dark there can be a spook, but it is surrounded by darkness. I don't know why I said it like that. However, ghost can also beat psychic, because much like bugs being a fear to the mind, so is a ghost in the void of the dark. A lot of people are afraid of ghosts, as you've probably seen from Name a Scooby-Doo episode. However, we're going to move on to the steel type. The steel type tends to be a very versatile type, for it is immune to poison, as stated previously. It can beat rock, as I have said, it can drill through the rock. Ice, because it can do the same to ice. And fairy, because much in a lot of Fale and folklore and tales and such, materials like copper and iron are a sort of illness or a poison to the Fae, as it would state. So, as steel being the metal type, essentially, it would make sense. However, steel can be beaten by fighting. As stated previously, you punch a tin can, it's knocked out. Fire, because a lot of metal can melt and bend and be shapen by heat. And ground, as stated previously, or you could pretty much just stick a tin can inside a crevice of the dirt and then push that slab of dirt and see what happens. Fire, going into the fire typing. Fire can beat bug, steel, grass, and ice. It can beat bug because, again, cockroach to a campfire. Steel, because bend, shape, it will melt, heat, make slab of metal go melty. Not all metals, but a lot of them. Grass, because forest fires, as you can see, plants can burn, a lot of them. And ice, because ice can melt when it's near a flame. However, fire can be beaten by ground, rock, and water. As stated previously, with a bit of dirt or some rocks, you can control or put out the flame. Water is no different, as I'm sure a 3-year-old can figure out when they grab a water gun to a birthday candle. Water now. Water can beat ground, rock, and fire. As stated previously in this video, I'm going to say that a lot as I keep going with more and more of these types. Water can, douse the ground, douse the rock, and put out the flame. However, water is also beaten by grass and electricity, because grass likes to drink up the water nutrients and grow as it rains. Some plants can die by too much water, to be fair. However, you water a plant, it's just going to be like, yay, a lovely drink. And electricity beats water because conductive. Grass. Grass can beat ground, rock, and water. As stated previously, split the rock, split the earth, grow in the dirt, and drink the water. However, it can also be, beaten by bug, fire, flying, ice, and poison. Bugs eat grass, plants burn, birds will fuck your plants up, ice can freeze your plants and or shiver them to decay them and make them die, and poison, as stated previously, poison can hurt a plant. Not all plants, not all poisons, but a lot of plants can die by toxic chemicals. Electric now. Electric is beaten by ground. It has one weakness, ground, because of grounding. However, it can beat flying and water. Water is conductive, and birds can fall from the sky when stricken with a bolt of lightning. Stricken? Strike. Stroke. Not using stroke. The psychic type, however, is beaten by dark, bug, ghost, because of fears. Fears of the dark, fears of bugs crawling all over you, and fear of some spoopy ghost coming behind you and going, "Wanna play?" Dark is also immune to psychic. I want to point that out there. It is immune to psychic, but we'll get to that in a minute. Psychic, however, can beat fighting and poison because of the knowledge and know-how to try to mind over matter a professional fighter. Maybe you're thinking, oh, he's got a limp leg, I can use that to my advantage. And for poison, if I add this chemical, it is no longer poison. So, psychic is a very powerful type in that sense. Ice type now. Ice can beat flying, ground, grass, and dragon. Ice, as previously stated, beating flying because, cold climate make bird not go burr, but do go burr. It can cover ground, and it can, cover grass, and even decay grass to where it can't even grow. And dragon, because dragons are reptiles, despite there being ice dragons. It's still a reptile. 9 times out of 10, the ice will take care of that dragon. It is beaten by fighting, fire, rock, and steel. Punch the ice could break. If you're professional in that sense. I'm not saying actually go out there and punch a block of ice. That is not what I'm saying. Do not take that in sense. Fire can 9 times out of 10 melt ice. Rocks, if you throw a rock at, the icy sidewalk, notice how it cracks? Yep. And steel, because you can pickaxe and drill your way through ice pretty easily. Now we're going on to dark. Dark is immune to psychic, because dark, in this sense, is the vast void of the shroud of mystery, the unknown. Normally, a psychic or an intelligence could spoke out what is in the unknown, but truly, do we know what's in the unknown? We don't. We never do. Hence why it is the unknown. Also, dark in Japan is considered the evil type. So, a lot of times with the smarter characters in media being overthrown by just the evil guy, it's kind of more common than you think. Dark can also beat ghost and psychic. As stated previously, dark surrounds ghosts, engulfed in its dark void. There you go. However, dark can be beaten by bug, fairy, and fighting. Fighting previously stated way early in this video as shadowboxing, as well as stealthy one-shot attack versus professional beatdown of your lifetime. Bugs are nocturnal, and as stated somewhat, recently, Dark is considered the evil type, and Fairy, when introduced, has been considered the adorable pink, but also the good magic type. So, in a lot of media, much like how the just dark and evil one can take out the Brainiac, good always prevails in the fairy tale scheme, so Fairy can beat Dark easy. Now we're going on to Dragon. Dragon, the only thing that can beat Dragon is Dragon, Fairy, and Ice. Ice stated previously because Reptile. As stated previously, the only thing that can beat a ghost is a ghost. Same equivalent to the dragon typing. Dragons can beat dragons because one giant fire-breathing arcane magical reptile versus another one. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've played Skyrim. I've seen how this goes before. And fairy type, as stated previously, the fairy type is considered to be the all-good, the win prevail, fairy magic-y, spellcaster. Dragons in a lot of media are considered to be a antagonist of arcane magic. So seeing a force of light and good versus the evil giant flying reptile that can breathe fire, destroying the villages. You see where I'm going with this. I don't like it either, but hey, Tinkerbell can knock out a dragon. In this case, if this is the logic it's going to give me. Next, we're going to get to Fairy type, which I believe is the final type here on this chart. Fairy is actually immune to dragon, as stated from this, because a lot of fairies, or fae or spellcaster, good light, imbuing magic user, they tend to win in the end, and they know all these magic spells and stuff to deflect the dragon's attack. Play Skyrim, you understand. However, Fairy can also beat fighting and Dark as well as Dragon. Dark, as stated previous, the good versus the evil, and way earlier in this video, the magic user versus the professional fighter. You see the D&D class logic here. However, Fairy can die to poison and steel, as previously said in this video, for both are a form of toxin to these magical fae creatures, as stated in a lot of legends and myths. And I do believe that is every type. Did I miss something about a favorite type of yours? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want me to go over type resistances, make sure you like and subscribe. Follow more of my videos listed in my channel. Go ahead and check those out. More videos are coming your way. Until next time, my fellow Ghost Type Nation, stay ghastly. Bye.